Right now it is storm season, meaning it's tree down on your property season or tree down on your neighbor's property season. So today we are joined by Dalton Dillon, certified arborist and owner of Dillon Tree Service, to talk about the importance of tree trimming and removal during this time of year and all the times of year. All right, so with us being in storm season, what are some of the signs that maybe one of the trees in our yard needs immediate attention?
So there's a list of things to look for. First of all, we've had a lot of wind and rain this summer season, so you want to be looking. Always look up. You can see broken branches, dead branches that may be hanging. Those could be a hazard if they fall during the next windstorm. With all the rain that we've had, it softens the soil, and so you can inspect the ground around your trees. Look for the ground where it looks like it may be rising, or if trees that you've always noticed leaning, if they seem to be leaning just a little bit more, you want to keep an eye on that. When the ground gets that soft, paired with a lot of wind, it's easy for these trees to uproot, fall on your house, other structures, property, things like that. Also, you want to look for cavities in the trees. If you know a tree is not in great shape, you may see holes in it. Lots of dead branches, that's a dead sign that a storm could easily come and knock branches out, knock the tree over, something like that. Or if they're losing bark anywhere, bark falling off, that's a good sign. Another sign is it's very common during the storm season to have these late afternoon thunderstorms. Heavy lightning, lightning struck trees can be dangerous in the future. You may not always recognize it, but there are some signs to look for in lightning struck trees.
Yeah, that was my next question. How would I know if my tree was struck by lightning? I mean, we hear the sounds and stuff like that, but when we wake up the next morning, how would we know?
So the first sign is to just look at the tree. A lot of times a lightning strike is so powerful. What it does is the energy produced from the lightning causes, it amplifies the heat inside the tree, and it expands the moisture, which makes the bark fly off. So in some of these pictures, you'll see the bark is gone off the tree, or it was so powerful that it even knocked the top out or a limb off. And so that's your first sign. And a lot of times the lightning will run all the way to the ground, so you'll see it even at the bottom of the tree, unless it jumped to another tree or another structure, which is possible. And that's the best way to tell. And if it is struck by lightning, the best thing to do is call us and have the tree inspected. Sometimes it's real obvious, but sometimes it's not. We've gotten into trees that were struck by lightning and they thought were totally fine, and there were stress fractures, and the tree was barely holding itself up. The next windstorm could have easily knocked that tree over. So you never know until you're able to get there and do an inspection.
Okay, well, speaking of, what should people look for when they're hiring a tree service?
Always make sure that they're licensed and fully insured. And fully insured would mean that they carry workers' comp, because if not, if someone were to get injured on your property, you could be liable. It's also ideally to have a certified arborist on staff. That way you know that these people are professionals and they've taken the time to educate themselves and their company on proper practices for our industry.
Okay, and usually when you're hiring a tree service, you hire them to take the tree down because something is wrong or remove the tree. Does that also cover like when they cut the tree up and remove the actual tree from your property?
So it depends. It's basically what's stated in the contract. We do some type of work where it is takedowns only, and we leave all debris on site. But most of our work includes removal of all debris from the site, and that is always put into our contract to make sure that there are no gray areas.
Yeah, and that is really key, because I think a lot of people, they just kind of do word of mouth and they say, oh, will you do this? And the person says, yeah, I'll do that. You're very specific. We should have a contract.
Yes, absolutely. We provide all of our clients with a written quote or email, however they prefer, and then they will look over it and sign it and approve it. And there's also a disclaimer at the bottom that explains other aspects of what we do, whether or not it includes stump grinding and things like that. But make sure your contract is how you want it to read, and make sure you do your research on who you hire and make sure they're fit to do the job.
All right, and insurance doesn't always pay for tree removal, especially if it doesn't come down on the property.
That is correct. They don't really pay for preventative maintenance, only after disaster strikes and it's on a structure most of the time.
Yeah, if it's blocking your driveway, you're probably not going to get insurance to pay for that.
It depends. Sometimes If it's a permanent driveway, like a concrete or asphalt, yes. Or if it's a gravel driveway, they would consider that not permanent. So that can also be a gray area. I would check with your insurance because policies can vary in either direction.
All right, Dalton Dillon, thank you so much for giving us your time and your expertise. If you need to pass this on to somebody else, because we always get all these questions about trees, we're going to have this in the Two Wants to Know section of our website.